County Board of Supervisor meeting. Today is November 17th, and we will call our meeting to order. I want to thank everybody for being here today. Do we have anyone online? Good morning to those online. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we've asked our treasurer, Cindy Orr, to lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Cindy. She didn't have a lot on the agenda today, so I didn't want her to feel like we were leaving her out. But would also like to recognize our Assistant City Manager, Mr. Bejarano's here with us today. Thank you for coming. If we could get a motion to approve our minutes of our meeting and work session from November 3rd, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We could get a motion to approve our demands and handwritten warrants.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go ahead and approve. We've had a chance to review, appreciate especially the over $1,000 invoice summary, so that we can review that, and also the Treasurer's Office sends us an update. And so we've reviewed those individually, and I'd go ahead and make a motion that we pay our handwritten warrants and demands.
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. We will now turn the time over to Brian Douglas with the Health Department. That's you.
Is there another Brian Douglas today? Okay.
I was talking to Emily. I apologize. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
We're requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 Project Together grant. It's with CHEC. And the purpose of this grant is to improve rural in rural areas in Arizona to improve the mental and behavioral health amongst our most vulnerable, and funding is up to $30,000. And one of the things that we plan on doing with this grant is having Emily Riddle and Rosa Contreras working with Jennifer Labrum, such as one thing going into schools and teaching the students on mental and behavioral health.
Great. Any questions or concerns from the board?
None here. Sounds like a much needed program to help with our situation with the mental health tragedy we have here in the county. I
agree. The death by suicide is, I don't have statistics, but too many, and you can't really start too young. And so it's great that we're addressing that need. Hopefully we can be even more effective. My question was this, Mr. Chairman, for Brian, and that is as this was set up as a potential 10-year program, it could be renewed up to 10 years. How is with the different changes in the state and federal funding? Is this are we business as usual, or are we seeing a reduction in the support for this program? What are the trends on that?
Currently, with this particular grant, it's just business as usual, and we're just going. It's just 1 year at a time. Will it be funded after this year? I have no idea.
Okay. And is U of A still assisting us with the program? Are they the oversight?
No, it's CHEC.
Okay.
Is the oversight of this particular grant.
Okay, very good.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the project together for the Southeastern Arizona Health Education Center.
I'll second Supervisor Howard's motion.
All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian. We appreciate you being here today. And next we will hear from Manager Welker for the HR department.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and good morning. I want to excuse Cindy Norris Blake. She's doing orientation this morning with 4 employees, so she wasn't able to be here. But as I believe you're aware, part of our merit system rules requires that we have a merit commission. The commission hasn't met for a few years now, but we try to keep their terms up to date. When the commission is needed per our merit manual, it's when a classified employee has been suspended without pay, involuntarily demoted, or terminated. In those cases, they may file an appeal to the merit commission, which is made up of individuals outside of the county organization, members of the community. And we've had 3 of those individuals are Neil Carnes, Vaughn Grant, and Patrick O'Donnell. Again, they haven't met for a few years, but when they have, they've done a very good job. They are appointed by the Board of Supervisors for 4-year terms, and we recommend these 3 individuals be reappointed to a new set of 4-year terms.
Great. Questions, concerns?
No, I just believe this is something we have to do. It's kind of a housekeeping thing. We need to keep this current and up to date in case we do have they need a commission meeting for this, so it needs to be done.
And for clarification, thank you, Supervisor. For clarification, Chairman, Dustin, is this is not related anyway to the merit pay that we where we were considering merit increases and have changed that over the last couple of years. That commission doesn't involve themselves in that, do they?
Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman David, you're correct. It does not. This is just for appeals for those cases which I mentioned, which are disciplinary issues.
Very good. Just the word merit was kind of, okay.
I'll clarify. We did away with that, I think 3 or 4 years ago. There used to be a merit. They weren't called the Merit Commission, and I'm not going to be able to pull that out of my hat right now, but there was another committee that reviewed during the budget process if there was a recommendation from department head or HR for a merit increase. There used to be a committee that looked at those, but we changed our merit manual a few years back, and that one no longer exists.
Very good.
So good memory as always.
Well, unless there's other discussion, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we go ahead and approve with the note of gratitude, the reappointment of the 3 members of our current merit commission.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We will also hear from Manager Welker representing the board on this next matter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our food service agreement that we have at our detention center is certainly one of our largest agreements. This is for a company to provide inmates meals. Of course, our inmates receive 3 meals a day. Our average population ranges from about 80 to 120, fluctuates throughout the year. About 20 of those on average over the last couple years have been federal inmates that we keep either through the marshals or through the BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs. The rest is our local population. There are, of course, standards and requirements for calories that are required on each meal and what can be provided. Those were outlined in the request for proposals that we sent out a few months ago. You may recall we opened those bids at this meeting about a month and a half ago, and Summit Food Services was the lowest qualified bidder, so that moved into a phase of actually doing a contract with them that references the RFP. So that's what's being presented to you today. The bid prices in there are based on their bid, which was the lowest bid, and we just had to memorialize this in an agreement. This is it's basically a 1-year agreement for 5 years. Every year it's renewable. A lot of our negotiations was going back and forth on how to handle potential increases year over year. Of course, we've seen a lot of fluctuation in food prices, and how to deal with that was a point of negotiation in here, what CPI to tie that to and how that would look. So each year they do have an opportunity to present to the county with their request for renewal and increase, but it's based on 5 different indexes that are CPIs for food, and they have to take the average of that and then submit that request to the county. It is a may, it is not a shall. So each year we will look at those and consider it. And one thing we fought really hard was to cap that at a 5% increase. So that is in the contract, and we're happy with what we've ended up with. Vice Chairman David brought up a point to me before the meeting, and I'll leave that for him for discussion, but I think he brings up a good point that could be a potential edit if you choose so on your motion.
Okay.
I thank you, Dustin, and for you and your staff and all the work you do, the jail and sheriff's department. I don't really think the public perceives just how in-depth this service is to our area, and the rules are stringent on these kind of things. And you guys do a tremendous amount of work, and it's very expensive to run and keep the jail going. This food service is a very important factor of all this, but I just want to thank you for you guys digging into this and trying to do the best we can on our food service agreement. So I applaud you for that, and thank you very much for your work.
Thank you so much.
Vice Chairman?
I just had one, as our manager mentioned, I just have one suggestion for the board for consideration, and that is on page 3 of 16. You may have seen this and redlined it also, but under special functions and catering, the college is a good case in point. Any activity that they have there, the catering company or the food supplier, people must utilize them for all their occasions. And in this contract, it said there's a shall. The company shall provide food service for special occasions, including county's conferences, dinners, meetings, parties, and other functions. And I, even though it says at that this and the some of the details shall be established by mutual agreement, that's kind of an out. But I would just suggest that we consider moving the shall to may, so that the company may provide food service for our county conferences. I just don't want to have them telling us that we can't use when we have like the fair dinner, that we've got to use them for and don't have any other options for catering, and then have an actionable contract item if for some reason in the future they decided that they wanted to capture all of our activities and capture that market. So just for your consideration, if you would, I'm suggesting that we go ahead and change the shall to a may.
I'm glad. That's a great catch, Supervisor David. I agree with you 100% that we don't want to have a shall on there when we have a may, and we have so many other events that we could possibly have a caterings too, and we don't want to be bound to that specific outfit company to do that. So thank you for that catch. I support you 100%.
Well, and they, speaking of may, they may not
May not want to do it.
Well, they may insist
Yeah.
on this, but anyway. But thank you very much for that.
All right, do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the food service agreement with the Graham County Detention Center with the changing of the verbiage from shall to may on item, what number is it?
Well, it's page 3 of 16.
3.2H.
Yeah, 3.2.
Item 3.2H to be may instead of shall.
Thank you. I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Thank you for catching that, Vice Chairman. Uh, We will now turn the time over to Manager Welker for the opportunity for the board and the county manager to present a brief summary of current events.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. We'll have some time for a work session today, so I'll leave the updates in highway engineering and parks to our directors. Just a little look of where we're at after a third of the year has gone by with our sales tax. We're in a good place. Our last month was 2.7% lower for this, what we call November sales tax than last year's. And we're just about flat year over year, but we're 1.5% ahead on our local sales tax this year versus last year. Our state share didn't come in until this morning, so I'll share that with you on the next staff report. Our general fund balance is in a good place. Thank you, Cindy Orr, for taking all the taxes. You guys have been really busy. Been a steady stream through her office, so we can see those in the numbers, and that's presented in the staff report as well. Just a couple updates on some of our projects. Our Main Street building remodel, the demo work, just ripping out the carpet and things like that have started. Our fairgrounds master plan, we're working with Bowman on that, of course, and spent a lot of time looking at water mains and laterals throughout the park. Our priority has still been to utilize that 8-inch line that was installed 15 plus years ago for the RO system, and we are successfully doing that. But we are getting closer. We're at the point where we're looking at tree species and locations, so that's always a good sign that we're narrowing in on getting closer to some actual construction plans. I've hung those plans up in the hallway and around your offices, so if you have any questions or comments, please let me know on those. Our CDBG project is also revolving around those plans, ADA sidewalks, connecting our new parking lots out there to the upper and lower ponds, around the upper duck pond and different ADA spaces as well for the parking lots is what we submitted that for. So SEGO has that at this time, and they've made that application into the Department of Housing. We received 3 quotes on our Armory Road Fairground sign. That's our old sign on Armory Road, and we've awarded that to Summit West Signs, and there's a down payment in what you just approved for the funds today, so we're hoping to get that going here real quick. The clean and lean ordinance, we've of course spent a lot of time. We redlined those. I think I attached a copy of that with the staff report last week. That is being reviewed by our county attorney and our contract county attorney. They actually gave us some really good feedback over the weekend. I haven't been able to dive into totally, but was looking at that this morning. So we'll be working on that some more this week. A couple little smaller projects over at the courthouse that Mindy's been managing, the AV upgrade project. That's for as we've been required to do, provide an option for people to appear remotely into Superior Court. So we have that technology in place. We received that through a grant, but from what I understand, they're providing training on it right now and should have that up and going here soon. We're working with one of Department of Corrections programs to have courtroom pews built and installed in our Superior Court. That's a project that Judge Peterson has been trying to get done for about 5 or 6 years, and we finally found the wing at DOC that could do that, so we're going back and forth on rendering and drawings on that. A big project we've been looking at for a very long time is the courthouse improvements. Our historic courthouse, which I think is the gem of downtown Safford. It's definitely time for some maintenance on that. In 1984, we built our Emergency Operations Center, which is a basement facility underneath the parking lot, which when this building was built, we moved the EOC into this basement, and that has become a secondary courtroom, and that's where Judge Ragland operates out of. I admire the ambition for them putting a building under a parking lot, but it has become problematic for us with it leaking, with the deterioration of that concrete. We've been trying to figure out how to make this work for a while, and I was very happy and fortunate to meet a local retired architect. His name is Mr. Hewish. He taught architecture at BYU for several years, and now he's just retired and living here because his kids moved here, so he followed him down. EAC has been using him on some other projects, so I grabbed him, and we walked the courthouse twice on once on Thursday, once on Friday for several hours looking at different options, and he's going to come up with some different options I think we haven't thought about, and I'm excited to see what he comes up with. And I just think it's time that we look at our courthouse and see what we can do to make it a little more aesthetic and maintain the historic properties that it has. It is on the National Register for Historic Properties, so we'll certainly be mindful of that, of anything we do at that facility. Another ordinance we've been working on is what was called the Casita Bill, House Bill 2928 for 2025, and that deals with accessory dwelling units. We were able to draft that in-house, submit it to our contract attorney, Kent, and he's basically put a blessing on that, helped us with a couple revisions, and I'd like to talk about that in our work session today and get a schedule to get that to planning and zoning, and then some public hearings to get it adopted after we get your input. And then finally, our fairgrounds parking lots. The last thing we had to do is paint the parking lot lines on there, and our guys at the parks have been busy doing that. They just have one parking lot left to do. I reached out to the Department of Corrections and also ADOT. Well, I haven't reached out to ADOT yet. We have a work session with them today, so I'd like to ask them today. But we'd like to present plaques to them in appreciation for their work, for DOC, of course, for providing the inmate manpower and their crews and their equipment to lay down those millings. And then, of course, ADOT for the work they did in providing those millings for us. Overall, we estimate we saved about $1.5 million on that 4.5 acre project of 4 different parking lots. So on December 15th, we're planning on presenting those plaques to them. And again, I'll leave our other work session items with highway, parks, and planning and zoning to our work session. And that's my report for now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Manager Welker. Next, we will hear from Vice Chairman David.
Thank you. It's a couple busy weeks, lots of great opportunities to represent the board and represent the county, and some of the activities that I've been involved in was the Substance Abuse Coalition had a November meeting. They continued to do fairly well. Their transition housing, and their recovery efforts are meeting with some success, especially when it comes to employment. We had a pre-Veterans Day meeting with the Gila Valley Veterans Services Committee, and followed up the unrelated. But the next day, we had a small business administration had a couple of people here. You'd think that since we didn't have any flooding or damage, that we wouldn't be necessarily, the focus of their coming to talk about disaster assistance programs. Our Brian was there, and Colin was there, and we had a really good discussion. And it's a lot of times it's not. In fact, it's truthfully it's not if, it's when. And it was good to get that information to see what they're doing for the Globe Miami area and Mammoth. We had a chance to talk about the emergency response, not in that meeting, but as a sidebar, and we'll see. We'll get a report at some point to see, I'd asked Colin to check in because he was doing a follow-up on if their emergency response system was activated, if it was, and if it was effective, and how we can lessons learned and fine tune ours. The next day, all day long meeting with the hearings for the Arizona Liquor Board regarding applications for people who needed licenses or weren't going to get licenses because of the character of the individual or the problems that were associated with providing another license in a distressed area. And then the following day, there was a follow-up meeting for the Lions Club, 5K and 10K meeting. Stopped by EA for not EA museums for their bazaar and report that they're doing really well with very little. They're a shining example of making the most of a very small incremental change. Following week, joined some of the board members at the pharmacy groundbreaking at the hospital, and then was privileged to attend the Safford City Council meeting the evening of the 10th, and then the rest of my week was local committee to end homelessness, listening in on some concerns from the energy and the NACO Energy Committee, and one of the concerns that they have is the federal government, whether it's the FCC or some other agency, wants to preempt counties and our ability to have any input on in this case broadband. They didn't want the counties and local agencies to be able to put any kind of restrictions. They just want to roll out their program and without any kind of consultation. And I don't know how effective NACO will be, but I'm always on the side of preserving the rights of cities, towns, and counties in determining activities and what's built. Later, that's pretty much my report. Veterans Day was phenomenal. The parade, the efforts of the Safford Lions, the city of Safford's assistance with their city hall, and I would note the counties, again, they used our lawn, and it's great to have our maintenance people keep our lawns looking good, and so that people, as they come over, there's not a drop off. We're not in a formal competition with the city of Safford with as far as landscaping, but we're in a much better position and feel good about our facilities, and that was really nice. And then we went to the following day. Went with another supervisor to the Veterans Day commemoration at EAC, and a number of people, very deserving veterans, were recognized by our Juan Ciscomani, our congressman. I'll let Supervisor Howard visit a little about that. And that was my report, Mr. Chairman. There was also I worked on a podcast for CSA regarding transportation, and I don't know. I think that I did so poorly that they won't even feature me on the. They'll just edit me out and just put me as a also participating Supervisor David at the footnotes. So that's my report.
I'm sure you
Thank
did
you,
great.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Supervisor Howard?
Yeah, I've kind of been MIA lately. The last couple of weeks, I went out to Kansas and I clicked my heels and got back last Sunday. Flew back last Sunday, but I want to touch on the Veterans Day parade. It was one of the best parades I've seen. The community really got together this year and honored our vets it was a pretty good parade and great program down at the courthouse. I take my hats off to those that organized that. It was quite a sight to see all the vets and the flags in the courthouse, and it was just very touching to see that we have the support we have. I think our community is amazing towards our vets. On the 12th, I also went to the 75th Lions celebration there at the college, along with Supervisor David. And then on the 13th, I attended the Veteran Service Award from Siscomani's office for 5 outstanding veterans that we have in our community. One of them sitting there, Mr. Eric Bejarano, was awarded this award. John Rhodes, Arnold Lopez, Mick Reese, and Ed Lopez all got this award. And what the award is just a award for veterans that's no longer in service, but still service their community above and beyond. And it was very touching. They came down and honored him here at EA, did a little program for him. And then they went on to Tucson, and Representative Sescomani was there, and he, I believe, gave the awards out to him there. But I just want to congratulate them all for such a great feat and what you contribute to our community. So thank you, guys. And then on Friday, I had the opportunity to play in a golf tournament out at the golf course. It was the Justin Gaethje Boys and Girls Club tournament, and it was phenomenal. It's a fundraising tournament. There was I think there was 140 players out there, is what my last count, or I heard. But last year, I believe they raised about $40,000 for the Girls and Boys Club. This year it was $60,000. I do not, or it was, the number was said possibly $60,000. I'm not confirmed on that, but I don't know how much that comes back to our local Boys and Girls Club, but I'm sure it's a pretty good percentage. But it was amazing to see the support that was out at the golf course. And by the way, Eric, the golf course looked fabulous. Thank you. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Howard. I don't have a lot to add, but I do want to commend the City of Safford and the Lions Club for the Veterans Day Parade, and just the overwhelming feeling you get when you drive through town and you see all the flags at the courthouse and the City Hall. It's pretty amazing, and thank you guys for that. We'll now have our call to the public. Do we have anybody for that today? Okay. So if no calls to the public, that will adjourn our meeting. Just want to thank you guys for all being here and for everything you do for our community. Thank you.